morning. Hey y'all, I am at the post office. We got 3 minutes till it opens and we got news that our chicks arrived at 4 a.m. So I'm gonna go in and go get our chicks. Okay, I got the chicks in the car under the heater. We've had their brooder box. I don't know how to open this. Okay, it goes like that. We've had their brooder box going so it's nice and warm for them. And I'm gonna go get the birds. Okay, here they are. Close that door, yeah. Oh, they're so cute. Alright, here's the babies. They got their water, their food, and that's their heater. Little babies. Hey y'all. So it's been a little while. The chicks have settled in, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you the chicks and talk to you about what it takes to keep the chicks healthy and getting strong. Here's the babies. We just got them this morning. I went to the post office at 8 a.m. when it opened, and I grabbed the baby chicks. I stuck them in the car. So we ordered 50 chicks. And this is the box that they came in. And there was 25 birds on one side and 25 on the other side. Okay, so we order our chicks from Murray McMurray Hatchery, and this is the second time we've ordered from them. We ordered 2 separate batches, not all together like this. They were 2 weeks apart. We had 25 brown laying birds, and then we had 25 whiting true blue, which these are all whiting true blue. They all look like they could be different breeds. But that's just a thing with whiting true blue. All the chickens look different. They just have a similar size and build to them, and they all lay the blue eggs. But they look different, so it's a really neat breed of bird to have in your flock if you want to have diversity as far as what your breed looks like. So Murray McMurray will tell you to contact your post office to let them know that you have live chicks coming. Our experience has been, post office doesn't really care if you have live chicks coming. They will call you if there's a number on the box, which Murray McMurray does put your phone number on the box, but they don't call you right away. So what we have found that works really well for us is to keep an eye on the tracking. When Murray McMurray tells you that your birds are on the way, watch where the package of birds go. And we know that in Richmond, when they fly in from out of state into Richmond, it's the next day that the birds will be at our local post office. So we saw they flew into Richmond yesterday, and this morning we looked, and at 4 a.m. they had arrived at our local post office. And I know that our post office doesn't open to the public till 8 a.m. So I was there right when the doors opened, and I collected the birds, stuck them at the foot of the passenger side of my vehicle, and I had my heater full blast on the feet to heat these babies up, because when they're in the post office and shipping, there's no heat and there's no cooling. It's cold. It got down to about 30 degrees last night, so we were a little stressed, worrying about how the chicks will have done with the temperature. Thankfully, these 50 were all looking good. No one was like trampled. Last time we did have one, I opened the box and it had not made it. The other birds had trampled it. So all these birds are looking good. Everyone seems to be coming out, getting some food and some water. They're not just staying underneath our heat plate, which I do recommend you get a heat plate rather than a heat lamp, because you have less risk of a fire with the heat lamp. The risk of fire is if it drops from whatever it's clamped onto, it can start a fire, and you might lose more than your baby chicks. So the heat plate, you just have these yellow adjustable legs, and you move them up and down as needed. If your birds are just staying underneath the heat source, they are cold. They are not warm enough. So you need to either drop the light lower on the bird, or you need to drop the plate lower towards the birds. Give them like 30 minutes, and if they haven't acclimated to the temperature and popped out for some food and water, that's when I would suggest you adjust your heat source. When your birds first come, you do not want to give them food and water. Not until you have them set up in their house. So this is their little house here, and when we pulled them out of the box, we grabbed one at a time and we dunked their little beaks into the water source, and then we set them next to the heater. You have to show them where the water is, or they won't like drink water. They will die. So you show them where the water is. After they've settled in a minute, you take your finger and you tap the food tray to show them this is where the food is. So your finger mimics a mama bird pecking at food, and the babies come running when you tap at something. They're curious, they want to know what it is, and they're like, oh, it's food. So now the babies know where the food is. And you only just have to do that once. Same with the water. When you have baby birds, they need an extra boost of vitamins. And so you can buy a supplement over the counter at a feed store that sells like chicken feed, or we make our own by blending garlic, oregano, and adding apple cider vinegar to the water. Now we home make the apple cider vinegar, which will be better because it has probiotics in it, which are good for their gut. So if you could do that, I recommend that. That takes about a month's time. So if not, just buy the store-bought apple cider vinegar, or you can buy the pre-made powder that you just add to water. Now the birds are in what's called a brooder box. This is a place that you keep babies. It's a small confined place specialized for them being babies. You can use like your bathtub, you can use a bucket, just depends on how many birds you have. You will need to very quickly transition them into a much larger space, and probably their home, like their forever home. So that'd be like their chicken coop. Make sure before you get your birds, you have your brooder box ready. You have their home ready. Another thing I should have mentioned is the heat plate and the heat lamp, your heat source that you have to warm your little babies. You need to turn it on hours before you go to collect your birds. That way it's warm and ready for their arrival, because they will be cold. So yes, make sure that you have their forever home set up. We could put these birds with our other birds once they're fully grown. You cannot introduce birds to another flock if they aren't fully grown, because there's a pecking order and the larger birds will pick on the smaller birds. And if you put young birds with fully grown birds, the young ones will be killed. So we could put these in with our current chickens, but we won't be doing that just yet. We have a separate coop for them that we are currently building. So hopefully we have that built in time. Otherwise they will be introduced to our older flock. If you have roosters, now we paid extra to have these sexed, so they're all supposed to be females, but if you have roosters, which we wound up with 2 the first time we ordered, we wound up keeping 1 and giving another away. If you have roosters, you need about 20 hens for every rooster. If you do not have that ratio, your hens will be bullied and picked on by the roosters, and it will not be happy. The girls will lose their feathers, and it will be a very stressful environment for the birds to live in. You can have more than 1 rooster. Like I said, 20 birds per rooster. We have Shorty and Junior. They get along fine. Shorty definitely keeps Junior in line if he's too aggressive with the girls, but they don't attack each other. because they have enough ladies. So when you buy from a store and they claim that they're girls, doesn't always mean they're girls. So you're either going to have to give away some roosters, eliminate some roosters, or get some more girls for your roosters. Hey y'all, what you see here is some apple cider vinegar that I made earlier in the year. We have garlic that I harvested from last year's haul in the garden, and then some oregano I harvested earlier this year. I'm gonna go ahead and blend them up and make a supplement for our chicks. This gives them vitamins and minerals, nutrients that help them stay healthy. Also, for our big chickens, we sometimes make this what we call a medicine for the birds if we have some bad weather or somebody's not looking so healthy. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix this up, and in the description I will have a recipe below for you. All right, and there's our supplement for our chicks.